I had video variants, and that's the only thing that was done with this intro. It had no description. There was 2 tags, if I recall right, and it jumped right to #1, both in YouTube and Google. It actually started #2 in YouTube, but the following day it popped up to #1. So as you can see, this method is pretty strong. So to get started, I'm going to ask a question. Give me some yeses or nos. How many in this group are familiar with SEO Quake? I need to get a yes or a no. It's fine. Yes, yes. Okay. Let me pop this down real quick. What I'm going to show you was the beginning of how I came across the process of what we're starting to do. This is where everything started to unravel, that I understood what was going on and why certain things ranked. Now, what I want you to focus on in this picture, I hope everybody can see this real clear. This video right here is number 4. It's not my video, it's somebody else's video. But what I wanted to show you is this video was approximately 1 week old when I took this picture. And if you look down here, in fact, you can see the date it was uploaded. Everybody see that? September 7th, 2016. Yet if you look down here, you can see that the age showing in the SEO Quake is April 28th, 2005. Now, if you also look, you'll see a trust rank of 2 and a page rank of 2. Now, anybody have an idea why this is the case? Or anybody want to speculate? And give me a shout back and see if you can figure out why this happened. Somebody asked me how old the Google account was. Well, it won't have any bearing. Here's what's going on. When you create a video on YouTube, and we'll pick on YouTube for a second. The date that Google bought YouTube is April 28, 2005. And the minute they did, they inherited the trust factor, the age, and the page rank that Google is accounted for. Now, ask yourself what this means. Because if it's true for YouTube, it's going to be true for every other Google property. Now, I'm going to repeat that. If it's true for one Google property, it's true for all of them. So anything you do on any of the Google properties, you inherit from the platform you built it on. If you built a doc, it's going to have the age and the trust and the rank of the doc platform or the Drive platform. If you do it on Google Images, whenever that platform was, that's what's going to be assigned as an inheritance. Okay? Is that real clear to everybody? Does everybody understand that? Okay. If I go too fast, let me know. Just bop in the chat room. Just a part. Okay. Let's go a little deeper into it. Oh. Come on. He's not activating for me. My apologies. Let's do this. Okay. We'll go with this one. Okay. Every one of these, the only thing that was done at the time was a simple silo at the time. And a simple silo, we did do a couple backlinks from Storify, and that's it. You can see those right here. But it was only the simple silos as backlinked at the time we did this first silo. Now, if you notice, these are still ranking today top 3. So they've been there for 2 years. So here's the question I have for each of you. How many times have we gone to a sales page and we noticed that they own number 1 and they show it on their sales page? It's the number 1 that we have, and 2 weeks later you can't find that video. Has anybody experienced that? Okay, what we're going to show you tonight, everything we've done has held its ranking for as long as since we put it up. Nothing's dropped. It hadn't changed. So what we're going to show you how to do is long-term ranking. Okay? Now, the date we put this up, I don't know if you can see this real close as well as I can see it, but we put this video up and the other videos August 26, 2014. So you can see it's been on there for over 2 years, locked in, and I haven't touched anything with it. I haven't added any backlinks. We just did the original upload and a couple IFTTT backlinks at the time. That's it. Nothing else has been done. So let me drop that down. We'll drop that down. So we want to move on to the next. That's the one I did. There we go. Now, here's what we're looking for. Now, I want to show you something here real quick. Drop it down. And we had 17 out of the top 20 spots from this upload. So we took basically 4 pages of YouTube's rankings. And to see, you've seen a couple of the Google rankings for these. But we also dominated YouTube at the same time, and I'd have to say 17 out of the top 20. And we could have gone on a couple more pages and showed you more results and took bigger pictures, but it's kind of pointless. Once you take and dominate the first page or 2 pages in YouTube, just like Google, there's nobody else going to be found. They're going to find you. They're not going to find your competitors. So we'll drop that down and we'll move on to the next. So I do want to show you a little trick. Let's go into one of the docs for variants. Okay. Now what you're not going to see here, you may notice that I also use the comments section. I generally put YouTube YouTube URLs in there, but I also put in my keywords in here. And to do that, you just go in your comments, you paste about 150 because that's all it will take. And then you'll have to comment on the comments. So let me stop for a second, make sure everybody's clear on this. Can I expand on the window? Yes. Do you want it bigger? Okay, let me back up so that's real clear. This is a document. Even though it's not, you can't see that it's in a document because you're not catching this up here. But we'll actually go into a drive here before we're over so you can see how this works. But if we'll actually do some, I could actually do some comment on in there, so if I don't have one that has comments on it, you can see how it's done. So, okay, is that clear, or do we need to expand on this? This is okay. This particular one, if I recall exactly, is 22 pages long. Even though we can't see that. And that's approximately 20,000 URLs. But what I want to show you with those 20, this is one of the earliest ones I ever did right here, you're looking at. And I was really just experimenting with what I could do at the time. Okay. Let me pull this over for a second. Right up in this area right here is a section that says comments. Let's hold off just for a second. Let me go show you something. I'm going to drop this down, and we'll go into let's make this real clear before we go much farther. Oh, come on. Okay. Let's go into okay. Let me know when you can see that. Okay. Okay, because I'm going to close this down where you can see my comments section. Yeah, Tony, I'm not hearing you either. Okay. I want everybody to take a real close look here and tell me what kind of links you see. Anybody recognize this? Okay, what you're seeing here, in case somebody doesn't know, these are called the variants. There are two types. One is a share link. If we go a little farther, we're going to start seeing KPs. KPs must have been in the front end, but that's okay. Those are the two type of variants. So we want everybody to understand what the variants are. And all they are in simple explanation, a variant is what YouTube assigns for different platforms for viewing. For example, each cell phone and every type of cell phone has a different variant URL. So if you go to YouTube on a mobile phone or a tablet, it's going to have a different URL than if you go with your desktop or a laptop. So that's all they are. We don't need to complicate it, but here's the bottom line. There's almost 1,000 different available variant URLs today. Currently, with the course, I gave away a software that finds 472 of these. And we can take these links and do a lot with them. In fact, we're going to go into that in just a minute. But as you can see, I've got pages and pages and pages. Here's my KPs. Sorry about that. Plus we have our regular links that you have for your videos. And then we're going to get into the Google shortened links, which are the same as those variant URLs. It's just, they're just different. Now, come on down, and we're going to start getting into keywords. Now, this was an earlier one that I did before we started taking and linking our keywords here. We could take these URLs, these keywords, and turn them into URLs. And for each of those keywords, once we associate that one video, in this case is what we're talking about, one single video, and we can tie it into, say, 1,000 different keywords. Now our keyword is getting associated to that video. Does that make sense to everybody? Does everybody understand that? If you need me to slow down, I will. Can you give me a yes? No? Not sure. Okay. You want to see how I do it? Okay. John, are you on here by chance? Okay. If I'm reading this correctly from Roger, maybe do a small dot the first day, more URs the second, build up. It's not going to make a difference. We've done 1,200 keywords with one video, all linked, all different URLs, all unique, all pushing towards your video. It's not going to make a difference, and here's why. The Google properties, you know, and we showed you a little clue about it in its inheritance. The other side of that inheritance is Google makes the rules to apply to everybody but themselves. They're not going to apply the same rules that they're going to slap somebody else with, because it's like shooting themselves right in the head. They set the algorithm to benefit who? To benefit Google. So they can't apply the same rules and still have the same benefits. So it's not going to make a difference. Let me give you an example. Duplicate content, we all know, is a no-no out there. But yet I can use it in some of the Google properties, and it's not even relevant. For example, let me go into... Drop everybody down for a second. Now, I originally hadn't planned on, I don't know why you're making me sign in. Oh, don't do that. Go to a different one. Forget it up there. Okay. Bear with me, guys. It's going to be a little slow. That's the issue when you run a lot of stuff. Well, let's try this again. Okay, let me expand on the calendar a little bit, since that's where I'm going. A friend of mine and I were exploring calendars, and we kind of stumbled across something. And this is where the duplicate content question came in, and we were curious of how much information we could put into a calendar. And so we cut and pasted an article with 937,000 words just to see how much it would take, and it swallowed it like it had nothing, like it had unlimited amount of space. So that kind of opened our eyes, and as we played with it, we found every hour we could put unlimited content in. You could put 1 million words per hour that's in a calendar and auto-repeat it. But we also, because of its nature, what is a calendar used for? Some people use them for webinars, and they have events. Well, by nature, these are duplicate items. An event is a duplicate item. it could have the same name over and over, and it's not considered duplicate content. So the calendar itself is immune from this. And if you take the basic principle, if it's true for one Google property, then it's true for all. Remember that? Earlier on we mentioned that. I don't know if it's going to load up because I've got a lot of tabs up. But hopefully it'll go ahead and show for, there it is. There's one. Okay. If I were to take one of the, let's see if I got a calendar on this particular drive. I don't think I do. But I do want to show you something while we're here. Let's create a calendar for a second. And we'll take 6 a.m. Now, when I'm making this calendar, I want to show you something. I gave it a name. Your town. Okay. If I were to make this calendar public, it's going to be a lot we can do with it. We're not going to do that because there's nothing on it yet. But what I do want to show you with it, we're going to go ahead and create it. Now, this is the secret to the universe, guys. Whatever information I want to put in there, let me go get something. Let's go get an article of some kind. Doesn't really matter what it is. Okay, we got an article there. Now, here's what I want you to see right here. Before we save this, we can go all day or we can repeat. Everybody watching this, everybody follow what we did right here. Get some yes or no's if you're not sure what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, you're about to see some magic here. We're going to change this to daily. It ends never. And I'm going to click done. We're going to click calendar test. And we're going to save it. Now we're going to go back And notice what happened right here. Everybody see that? And if we were to let's go to a month. Every place we had that article is going to be auto-repeated. So that article, what little bit we put in there for 1 hour is auto-repeating daily from now till the cows come home. It's never going anywhere. So what I want you to see is if we put an article in 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and fill this all out, it'll auto-repeat every single day. Now, ask yourself how you can use this. Let's go back to my calendars for a second. I want to show you something. Let's go into settings. And go right here. Everybody saw how I got to this point? There's an iframe. Now, you're about to see something very, very neat. See, we're right here at this iframe, and we can actually put this into a doc. We can put it into a website. We can put it into virtually any place we could put an embed code. Now, if I've got real detailed stuff I don't want to share with the world, but I want the benefit of the bots seeing that information, but not people, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change the size of this embed code. I'm going to take it and bring it down to 10 and 10 so it doesn't even show more than a dot. Or I'm going to put the embed code in a doc, maybe a sheet, if I don't want to embed it on a site. Now, let's back up for a second so everybody gets this. Do we understand the calendar and how we could use this for massive quantity of information? We can put 1 million words or more per hour. There's 24 hours. And we're going to repeat 24 million words of content every day, and it's going to be treated just like new content. Let me catch all these questions because I'm going to miss some. You can put links in here. You can put keywords in here. It doesn't matter. You put video links in here, website links. It doesn't make a difference. Now, but I want you to think outside the box, because if I'm going to put it on a website, I don't want anybody to see what I'm doing. I want to have it hidden, so I'm going to change this. Again, we're going to back up. We're going to change this embed size down to a dot, a pin dot. So it just looks like a speck on your website. Now the bots will read all this information. That's what they do. Yeah, you do want to make it public. We do want this public. If it isn't public, it's going to be of no use to you. But we do want the bots to be able to read it. And it's not necessary for people to see it. Okay, let's get back to, I do want to do a, get over to the documents. So let's see if we can get, I don't want to miss out on showing everybody how to do this. So let's start a new document for a second. Okay, I'm going to drop this down so you can see where the comments go. But bear with me once we get this done, because I can't see your comments when we're doing this. Now, up here, once we put content in here, your videos. We're going to put in variants, regular, and shortened URLs. Keywords. And you put images in as well, etc. Now, over here is the comments section. Can everybody, I hope everybody can see this. I'll check here in a minute because I can't read this and get to the comments section at the same time. So let's go get us some keywords. And I'll show you something here. Good enough. Nothing on that one. Let's go water damage. While that's loading, we'll have a little fun once it does. So we go A. Now, if I got more, I can comment on the comments section. All I'm going to do is add more right here. So let's stop for a second and make sure everybody understands that. Is that real clear on the comments, everybody? The more is right here at the bottom. Once it takes off, it can only take about 150 keywords, and you'll just have to add more back in. So you're going to cut and paste to about 150, and once you do that, you can then comment on the comments until you get them all in. So, okay. I think with that, I think we've covered this docs well enough. Sheets is going to work very similar with the same information. But what I do want to cover is, you'll notice you have, let me drop this back over for a second. You have a share. Now I haven't published this yet, so I don't know if it's going to share at this point. You have to name it before sharing it, etc., etc. So, but it's not published yet. And you can take and actually email to yourself and other accounts you have, and it'll share this document. But it is the same document, so it's not going to count as a brand new document with links pointing to your video. Okay? You can get a shareable link, etc. You copy it. You say done. We haven't published this yet, but if we were going to publish it, we'd click publish to the web, and we grab the embed link and the share link. Okay? But I'm really not going to want to do that at this point. Okay. Are we all clear on documents for a second? Because we go into it pretty good into the course as well as the Skype group. Okay. Now, how many people in here are familiar with Google Keep? I get some yeses and nos. No. Okay, we got a no. Bill is yes. No. I appreciate that, Tom. Okay. I'm about to show you Google Keep. And it's not so much what you can do with Google Keep as it is the effect. It has one purpose for us. Now, if you post something in here, a URL, let's steal a URL if I can. It ain't gonna let me. Shoot. Okay. Let me peek at my email, guys. But we're gonna grab a URL. Come on, load up. Well, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Guess I'm not. Okay. I can make one up. It's not even going to matter. Now, a couple things you can do. And let's talk about them for a second. I can take a whole group of URLs here, and I mean just hundreds of them in one note, if we choose. So, this video. Oops, didn't want to do that. Okay, this. Now, see these dots down here? They're going to allow me to add a label. If I didn't add a label, what's going to happen is these would be no follows. So what I'm going to show you here is how to change a no follow to a do follow. Now, what you would see here, if we hadn't changed these, you'd see lines through them telling you they're actually do follow, or they're no follows. So in this case, I've already got this done. So we're going to copy this. Save ourselves a little time. Okay. And we actually just created what would have been a no follow into a do follow. I got a typo, it won't be any good, will it? You're right. Let me edit it. See if we can edit this. Okay. Let me watch my spelling this time. Okay. So the real point of that is to turn a no follow to a do follow backlink. Google Keep has no share links. It'll share something to somebody by email, but it doesn't actually have a share link. So we can't take advantage of that. But the point of using it is to create what? Backlinks. And they're Google backlinks. Again, why use Google? Because they're priority links. Okay? Does everybody understand what I mean by priority links? No. Okay. Priority links, and we mentioned it in the very beginning, yeah, some more juice. Let's pull that original picture up of the SEO quick. So let's go back for a second. Everybody remember, this is a week old video at the time of this picture in September 7th, 2016, but it's being awarded an age of April 28, 2005, and it's inheriting the trust factor. It's inheriting the page rank of YouTube itself. So any of these that we do, when we put a link in here, we're going to inherit Google Keeps trust factor and its age. Okay. James, what's happening here is all platforms Google has, when we build something on that platform or we upload something to that platform, it automatically inherits the values of that platform. So if you put a video up in 10 minutes from now, it's going to say April 28, 2005 if you have the SEO Quake stats where you can see what Google was giving it. So if I do a doc and it shows in the rankings, which I really don't want it to show, it's going to give me an age of that platform when it created the drive. Okay, good. So I don't want to move on too fast for you, but all of these Google properties have the inheritance factor. And so I've kind of named them priority links. You can call them whatever you're comfortable with. But I do want to cover, before I forget, I do want to show you what domination looks like. So I'm going to show everybody 3 more pictures, and this is a little bit more, well, let's go into the descriptions first before we go too far. I want to show you, somebody asked me the other day, how do you take advantage of these docs besides embedding them or using them for backlinks? So early on when I started creating docs, and this was one of my earlier ones, you notice that I've got a Google shorten link right here. But this is 22,000 URLs that I posted in Facebook, or I can post them in Twitter, or I can post them on Tumblr. It doesn't matter. If you were to try and put 22,000 URLs into Facebook, what are they going to do to your account? Anybody have an idea? That's about right. Now, I can do this at will. I can put as many URLs I have put as much as 88,000 URLs safely. Okay, I want you to think about that for a minute, because they've never bothered with it. And here's the reason, because I'm only putting one URL in there. But the URL is to a document that's got all the other URLs. Now, does that make sense to everybody? Now, don't you think at this point this is a better way to do things? Working from the inside of Google rather than 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Okay? Now, how many people here on this call do local marketing, doing for business, locals? Or you want to get in that market? Let's rephrase the question. Okay. Now, as a local marketer, I see a lot of yeses, so let's focus on it for a second. As a local marketer, the last thing you want to do is have a client you're working for, you get them to page 1, and you have them there 2 or 3 months, and you're collecting money, and they're starting to believe in you, and all of a sudden Google does a penguin change, and you have to call that client up and say, I'm sorry, I said, they made this change, and you've dropped down to page 17, and it's going to take me about 3 months to get you back to page 1, and you won't get any leads until we get you back there, but please keep paying me. Anybody want to have that conversation? Nah, you're right. So let me ask you this question, and it's for each of you to ask yourselves. If you're doing local, for an example, and you make yourself immune to the changes, are you not better off? Okay. Now, we're going to show you a quick series of pictures of what you can do. Come on. Doesn't want to act right, but I'll start with this one. Okay. This particular sample, we have the top 17 videos or so, first 2 pages and beginning of page 3, if I remember right. And it's not very old, but I'm going to go through all 3 pages if I can get them up. Oops, that's the same one. Sorry about that. Now this is page 2. Come on. No one act right, does it? There we go. Okay. So you can see that what can be done, and it can be very dominating. So if you have the ability to dominate at will, pretty much. Now, here's the question I get all the time, so I do want to answer it. If you're going after a competitive niche, that means there's a lot of serious competition. Can you dominate that? Well, the answer is yes. But you have to take and remember two things. It's going to take a little more work, and you are going to get attacked. So you have to prepare for that attack and be able to just dominate it so strongly that the competitors are going to go off for greener pastures. I got a question. Are all these different videos? Yes. They're similar, but yes, they're different. Stop giving. So, okay. I think that we pretty much covered a good preview of the course. Does anybody have any questions they want to get answered before we call this a night? Channels, okay. Let me back up before you send links to Google properties. I use the Google properties as pointers to a target. Okay, the same way you would silo or tier backlinks to a target. Basically the same way we use YouTube. YouTube is doing what? It's going to a target. So we'll take our Google properties point to our YouTube, pointing to, you know, what we want the destination. In some cases it's a URL, some cases it's a phone number. So it depends on your purpose. I have a new video. Let's see. Yeah, this you could do. The whole course is laid out to as simple as I could make it, yet put all the information in that we needed it to have. Now, for those of you that don't have the course, if you decide to get the course, we do have a Skype room where we try and give you hands-on question and answer. Could you use this for citations? I would say the answer would be yes. You could, if you've got a URL for your citation, would you not use the Google properties for it? Now, I cover co-citations a little bit. How did I get to 22,000 URLs? The 22,000 URLs came from video that were up on YouTube for a local client for somebody. And we just got the variants and everything else. Did I go over any maps tricks? No, I didn't. There's just X number of hours to really do a webinar without going real deep into maps. And maps is more used. Now, I do use maps in some of the properties. Okay? You have a preferred order, doc sheets. I generally start with docs or keep. Some people start with keep, cut and paste it into docs simply because it makes the URLs clickable, and it saves a lot of time. Here, let me cover something real quick, just so we know, so you don't fall into this trap. Google Docs. If you paste a lot of URLs in there, when you first paste them in, they're not going to be a live URL. If you highlight them and click link, they become a live URL, but, and I want everybody to listen to this real close, and I say but again, I want everybody to pay attention to this real close. All those live URLs are exactly the same as the first URL. I don't care what you put in there. For some reason, a doc will make it the same URL. So we had to create a workaround for that. And that workaround, it was real tricky. We stumbled with it for a while before we got it correct. I happen to use Notepad++ in conjunction with Google Keep, and you can paste them off of Google Keep, and they're automatically live links when you paste them back over into a doc or a sheet, etc., etc. And it's a free. Notepad++ is free. It's just an HTML editor is what it is. Now, there is a trick to that, and that is once you make your Notepad++, you have to save it as an HTML document. Does everybody understand that? Nope. Okay. Tim, are you familiar with Notepad++? Yes, that's covered in the course. Okay. Basically, have you ever used an editor like Composer? Okay. Notepad++ is basically an editor, but you can save it in different formats instead of all being HTML. Where Composer, it's only going to be HTML if you save it in there. Yes, do this, then that. In fact, John, if he's on here, created a video of the whole process, which we've provided. So there's no way to confuse that, making the doc and making clickable HTML links and all the rest. Once you do it once, you can repeat it forever. But before I get sidetracked, I do want to tell you one thing. I started to show it and I got sidetracked and we got off on a different subject. So I want to back up for 1 second. With Google Docs, if you share by email, it's the same document you're sharing. So if you edit it, it's any place you shared it gets edited. So it's the same document and it's viewed as the same document. And we want to make them all unique, so instead of having 1,000 backlinks, you want 10,000 by sharing it to different Gmails you own. So how do we do this? Well, for me, I click, let me go on to Docs. Oops, that's not the one. If I click File, I can download, and I get to choose what I'm going to do it as, so it doesn't really matter. But if I download it in any of these formats, actually I might want to do them all. I'm going to take and download it and rename the file and then upload it to the next document or the next drive. So how many Gmails I can control, I can determine how many backlinks I want or need just by renaming that document and re-uploading it to a brand new drive. Does everybody get that? It's pretty simple, but let's make sure everybody's on the same page. You have to publish to the web on each one, plus you have one additional step. And the other step, let me close this so everybody can see it. Once I have clicked File, Publish to the web, and I'll grab those links. Well, let's go ahead and do it, just so everybody can see. I'm going to put Publish. Ensure I don't want to publish it. Yes. I'll save this link. I'll copy it in a notepad. Let's just do it for the sake of showing you. So I'm going to copy this link, put it in my notepad. That's my published link. Then I'm going to click Embed. And this is an iframe or an embed code. And I'm going to take that document. Now I'm going to label it code for XYZ doc. Because I want to know, I need to know what this document's for, so I'm going to name them. Okay? Now, if you were to go to this particular URL for this doc, or you embedded it on a website, it's going to say, you need permission to see this. So, here's what you have to do, the one following step. You've got to click that share button and get the shareable link. And that means anybody can view. Without that, it's going to request permission. Okay? So I think we're done with the docs. we got to spend a little time on that, didn't we? So, are we stacking? Links to the previous drive. Yes, but I haven't really covered that. Is there a video that shows? Yes. We've probably got 12, 13 videos in there. In the OTO is the video section, as long as, and with the software. But since we're talking about it, I'm going to go ahead and pull up a video that covers stacking. Even though I know some people ain't going to be happy with me if I do it, but let's do it here. Yeah, let's see. There we go. Okay. Can everybody see this diagram? Let me expand it a little bit for you. Is that better? Too big, okay. Is that better? All right, let me explain what you're seeing, because it's rare you would ever need this. This is extreme. But if I were going after a super competitive niche, this is how I would go about it. Now, at the same time when I say that, Notice you're only seeing one YouTube video here, right? But each of these primary dots, 1, 2, 3, 4, are not limited to a single video. I could put whatever number of videos in each of these. The tier dots are just tying all of these together in a siloing fashion. That's all. So we don't want to complicate it for you. What we want to do is get it to where you know if you pick out a niche, what's going to happen. You're going to go out and dominate that niche. And you won't ever have a question about doing that. Okay. Never pick a niche unless you intend to dominate that entire niche. So you have to go in knowing what you're going to do. So if you're going into an ultra competitive, this is the, now we only show docs here, but this could be sheets, and the same thing can be done for slides. The same thing can be done with calendars. I mean, you have to use your imagination what you can do with this. So even though I don't go so deep that nobody's going to understand it, you have to use a little bit of imagination and take the next step on your own to what you can do following the map we provide you, or the blueprint. Okay? There's an old saying, if you don't know where you're going, any road is going to get you there. Go deep. Hey, Tom, we try and do that in the Skype room. We discuss a lot of things, not even in the course, in the Skype room. And that's it. That's the intention of it. For those that bought the course, that took the time to join the Skype room, those are the people taking action. Not everybody buys the course even going to bother to take action. I mean, I may not understand that why, other than I've been there myself. Okay. Do tier docs tie main docs? Yes. If you notice, tier docs are linked, have that link, that link, that link, and that link on each one. All three of these are tying these 4 docs together. Okay? And here's what you're doing. The docs have very strong trust and rank value. Same as sheets, but I think we're all more comfortable working with docs than we are sheets, for whatever reason. Let me adding more. I tend to only have a few channels per account. I'll tell you why I do it that way. If you create 100 channels or 99 channels on a YouTube account, and you lose that YouTube account, you lost a lot of work. I can just as easily create 4 or 5 channels to an account, and I'll work with it, build it up. But if I ever get slapped, I'm not worried about it because I've already got 100 more, so I'm not worried. But everybody has a different idea of what they want to accomplish and how they want to accomplish it. There was a time that I had 650 YouTube channels and 650 IFTTT accounts all tying those individual channels. It was a monstrous lot of work. And when I lost a couple, it was a rude awakening. Okay. Dave, you can put articles, links. The content's just unlimited. The original model we tested, like I said in the calendar, we did 937,000 words into a single hour. Now, if you post 900,000 words into a document, you're going to start to get unresponsive before you get it all in there. So you have to break it down in pieces or parts at a time. That's a lot of content. Do you need to do that much? Depends on your purpose. If you're embedding it for content, then I'm going to put more is better. If you're doing it for backlinks, more is better. But different purposes, you do it different. Okay? Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Anybody have any final questions? You know, it's kind of funny. We haven't had anybody leave. Everybody stayed around. I love that. Oh, somebody left. Just as I said that. Can I repeat how to make a non-follow? Okay. Let me drop this down. How do I set up the tiers? Okay, let's do these one at a time, and if I forget you, add the question back in. Okay, in Google Keep, when we take a link, and this is the case we took a link, if I hadn't added a label, and I gave this label a shortened link, or a Google shortened link. So I basically have a Google shortened link pointing to a regular URL, but it's in a Google property. Once we did that, you'll notice there's no lines pointing through this. Okay? So that means it's a do follow because of the way we did it. When we first started doing these, and I first started playing with it, I'd do one of these, and I'd come back here, and there'd be a line through it, which means it was no follow. So here's a theory for you. Yes, it does work on websites as well. It's just a little bit more that you're doing. In theory, if it's true for one Google property, it's true for others. But the key is different. In other words, for this particular property, the key was taking a Google shortened link as a note. For other properties, say, let's just say a document. I would think, now I see I'm getting kind of non-responsive in my browser here because I'm spinning. So I'm going to have to talk you through this. A Google Doc, I suspect, if you put the title of the URL, I used to do these links are for the following video and put the URL to that video in there. That could be the key over there. I don't know. But the different Google properties, there's certain things you do differently to get the do follow. Now, let me give you a quick free one here. Have you ever commented on somebody else's video? Okay. Your comment is a do follow. However, comments that you put for yourself are not. So each Google property has its own key. Have I discovered them all? No. But I haven't taken the time to completely do that. I have a full day most of the time, and so there's not a lot of free time. So I have to do it when I do have free time, is go what I call go exploring. But I do want to show something before we get off here. There's one more thing I do want to show you if I can find it. Yeah, that it is. Okay. Now, every one of you should recognize where I'm at in this process of an upload of a video. Okay, because we've all uploaded videos. I haven't put in the description or any of that. But what I did put in here is 23,000 words into the message box. Now, you have to unclick Google Plus and Twitter to do this, or you're going to get a nasty gram from G+. But the maximum description you can put into a video is 5,000 characters. The maximum description you can put in a playlist description is 4,990. Okay? I just put in almost 24,000 words into the message box and it took it. So you have to ask yourself, does it serve a purpose? It serves an SEO purpose, I'll tell you that. So, yep, you have to play around with it. So, did everybody see that picture real close? Even though you can't see how many words are actually there, I am showing you where to put them and how to make this work for you. Okay, let me back up for a second. See if we got any questions. IP addresses is you can deal with IP addresses different ways when you for website or for YouTube account creations. If you're creating them for yourself, you're gonna run out of telephone numbers to verify with. Hey, we appreciate you being here, and we're about ready to wrap up. I'll make some final comments and see if anybody's got anything before I get off. But can you hide my ass? I wouldn't do it. CCleaner, I use CCleaner before every login, and I use Firefox with private browsing. We appreciate it, Tom. It doesn't need anything more than that for 90% of what you're doing. Unless you're doing mass video uploads where you're going to need to use a proxy in your browser for each account, and unless you're at that level, you're not going to run into any problems. Here's the rule. You pretty well generally upload 15 videos per channel per day with no problems. Get beyond that. The OTO I priced as low as I could possibly price it. There's 3 software included, and it's the over-shoulder videos, which a couple of them we need to replace. My originals, when I recorded those, I had a headset that was just horrible, and you just couldn't really hear very well with it. So I do want to still replace a couple of those yet. So we priced the OTO at $39, including the software and the over-the-shoulders. So that's about as really as low as I could keep it with the 3 softwares involved. I've got a brand new Yeti mic now. I don't need a new headset now. So, okay. Anybody have anything else? Now remember, if you do get the course, make sure you get into the Skype room. It's not a promotional Skype room. We don't use affiliate links. We're not trying to sell you anything. We're trying to teach you something in there. The initial course is $67, and it's pretty intensive. It's I believe there's like 8 different PDFs or 8 different sections, and we cover a lot of stuff. I mean, we barely scratched the surface here tonight. The OTO softwares, what they do is one software gets all the variants that are available for YouTube for any video URL you have. There's only one OTO. The second makes the Google shortened links and HTML links for using in the docs and the sheets and other properties. The third software that's involved is RPI engine, which means you can check the RPI of other people's channels or your own. Yeah, Master Shorty is one of them. Now, I do want to mention, just for the sake of Tony's mic isn't working, we couldn't hear him. He's got the Network Alpha launch coming up, so everybody should keep an eye out for that launch he's getting ready to do. So watch your emails. If you were able to get on the webinar, I'm sure that you got one of the emails from him. So it's kind of a scary good software once you get the chance to see what it'll do. In some cases, there's a million. He had like a million posts out in one day off just using that software. So it's Network Alpha Network, I believe, Rich. I think the bottom level is 50,000 posts a month on Alpha Networks. It's an awful lot of posting. Okay. The concept of ranking videos or ranking websites is both related. I can do either one. I can rank a website to page 1 in 5 days, where I can rank a video much easier. But we've always had the ability to rank videos faster than websites. But the commonplace way of doing it took about 3 months of very, very hard work if you knew what you were doing with SEO. I can get there in 5 days using all Google properties. That's going to depend on a couple things. As far as the pricing changing, because I've got a couple of marketers that want to do a webinar for it, and they want me to hold off on changing the price. So we're going to hold off a little bit before we change, but it's a good question to ask. I can rank a site.google in 5 days, again, to page 1 and dominate page 1. Let me give you, before we leave, let me give you, yeah, you do have 24 hours without problem. Let me give everybody a search to do, and I want you to take a look. This is not mine. This belongs to a student. I call him a student, a friend of my wife's that I've been helping, and he didn't really have any SEO knowledge, but I helped him in what he needed to do for this site. So if you want to take the time to Google that right there, now here's what you need to see in there, and it'll vary by your geo. Some people will see 5 positions on page 1 from the same site. Some people will see 4 from the same site. It took 5 days to get it there to number 1. You have to Google that. Is all you need to do. I didn't put a link in. You just have to Google it. Okay. Texoma SEO. Texoma SEO. Somebody asked a question about how hard it is to rank site.googles. And so this particular site took 5 days to get to number 1, and it's been there ever since. It's had no content added. Everything you're seeing was done on day 1, basically. Yes, that particular website, Texoma SEO, made it to page 1, number 1 in 5 days. It's had nothing done as far as adding content or any changes since the day it was built. And yet you can see some people have 4 positions, top 4 positions from that same website. Some people see 5. So it gets multiple listings from the same website. Kind of interesting, isn't it? So if you were to ask anybody, yes, he got 6, okay. It'll vary some. Depends where you're at. Okay. Texoma SEO. The books are his. Hey, John, I'm not sure how to answer that. I haven't been to the site for months since I helped him build it. Is his site, so I don't have a purpose to go there, so I can't answer that. So, does anybody have any last second stuff before we get off here? I appreciate it. If you need the link, let me see if I can get the URL right. We appreciate that, guys. We really do. And like I say, if you get the course, please make sure you get in the Skype room so you can have the advantage of really a lot of great guys besides myself helping you, some of them are people I've been working with for 6-8 months, showing the system, working the system before we started marketing it. So there's people besides myself that can help you. You know, we discover stuff all the time that's new. So that's the first place we're going to add it. Even if it isn't in the course, we want to make sure that people who got the course get the information as we update it. And that's real important to me. So with that, unless there's any final questions, we're going to call it a night, guys. And I appreciate it. It's been a great crowd. Everybody pretty much stayed right to the very end, so that means a lot to me, and we appreciate it. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any other questions. I guess we're going to call it a night, and we do appreciate it. We'll look forward to seeing you in the Skype room, guys, and we appreciate it. Thank you.